Even a month ago, I was like, should I be changing genres? Should I just be changing to fit what's gonna work? Because this doesn't feel like it's working. I keep driving forward, and then all of a sudden, it's working.
Sometimes finding your way as an artist means finding your way back to the reason you started in the first place. For Arobyss, that journey meant returning to music, navigating the uncertainty of what comes next, and learning to keep moving forward, even when it felt like nothing was working. Today on Redefining Music, we're talking about what it takes to find your sound, trust the process, and keep going long enough to see what happens on the other side. Welcome to Redefining Music. Let's get into it. Today, I'm here with an incredible artist, Arobyss. Tell me a little bit about you and your artist journey.
I think it started in 2000 because that's when I first fell in love with dance music. Before that, my influences were probably rock and hip hop, so I actually even kind of made fun of dance music a little when I was like, and then it would bit me because I didn't get it.
What is it? No one likes techno, isn't it? Eminem says no one.
Yes, and I was like the Eminem generation.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, me too, right?
No, so yeah, but I always liked, it was sneaking in there. If I look back, some of that, some of the stuff from like the earlier '90s, that would come on the radio, I would jam out to that. But it wasn't until later, till 2000, that the bug really bit me, and so,
Okay.
and then it was like happy hardcore, surprisingly, that.
Happy hardcore.
Yes, that introduced me first, like Dune and that. And then I'm from Florida, so breaks are everything in Florida, and so it was just a little longer till I found out breaks, and then I knew this is something I have to do. Vinyl was my first DJ setup. I learned on vinyl. I learned self-taught. It took a while.
The art shows, honestly, artists that play vinyl, there's so much grit. Like, because it's so hard to match. There's no beat matching. There's no,
Funny story, when I first got my turntables, I had a couple records that I purchased before, and I didn't even know you needed slip mats. So I get there and I'm trying to cue up and it won't do anything, and I'm just like, what's happening?
I don't even know what a slip mat was. What is a slip mat?
It's so you put it on the platter, on the turntable, it goes in between your record and it allows it to slide while you're cueing.
That's how you wicka.
Yeah, if you don't do that, let me tell you, it won't move.
That makes sense. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I didn't either then. It took a little while to learn on my own, and from there, there was a brief pause in music. I decided to join the Army.
Okay, what propelled you to that?
Well, it honestly started, I was going to go to the Coast Guard because I didn't really, life was happening, and I needed to make an income, and I didn't really know what to do, and the Coast Guard seemed fun. I'm from the beach. I might be able to stay near a beach. And then I watched a documentary about the flight that fought back, Flight 91, that fought back on the September 11th. So. And after I watched that, at the very end, they were all calling their families to tell them goodbye on that flight. And after that, I was like, I have to go do my part. I have to do something, about this. So that's kind of where why that all happened.
Wow,
yeah, so
that's
I was
powerful.
gonna do the military, just that documentary kind of switched what I was gonna do with the military.
Okay, so then you how long were you in the military?
Almost 3 years. I was medically discharged.
Okay.
So I was in Germany. I got to live in Germany.
What base were you at?
Oh, it was Vilsec. Vilsec's what it's called.
Vilsec, okay.
But it was the first time that I got to go. We went to Nuremberg, and I went to a shopping mall that was multiple floors, and on every floor there was a DJ. And I was like, this is heaven.
Wait, okay, so when you were in the military and you went to Germany, that's when you saw DJs on every floor?
Yes, yeah.
So
it was just the mall. It was just
the mall?
It was the mall. They were at Macy's. They were at, I don't think they had a J.C. Penney's, but if they did, it was like every big store had a DJ, and they had one on every floor. It was insane.
Did that in
Nuremberg, yeah.
Did that spark something in you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
it was amazing. And
wow.
Sarah, my wife, she worked at Sixth Car Rental and got Svinvath's number because one of the employees, she was, always promoting me and said, oh, my husband DJs, And he knew him, and I never called that number. I slept on that number, and not realizing even what I had in my hand.
Wow. That happened. I love that you said that because like I know we're going to deep dive later into more of this topic of like just going for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so now you're in Germany. You had this number. Okay, take me through the rest of your Germany experience and then how did you get into the music side?
Well, yes, Germany was. I ended up getting out of the army out of Germany. It was amazing. Had my setup in the room. Obviously, practice all the time. I would get the magazines and get the Ableton. Try to use Ableton. It would frustrate me to the point I'll just keep spinning records.
Yeah.
And then when I left the army, my mom had moved to Texas. We moved here to help her, so we came to Texas rather than going back to Florida. And before I moved, I started reaching out to all like the production crews that were out here. Buckle Up, 512, there was Westworld, and Westworld had a warehouse in North Austin, and he had me come out and try out, and then I was just like a part of that crew. So like I had kind of set it up before I got here, and started playing a lot of shows with them, and that was probably 2008-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you mentioned before we got on this pod that you have a background in sound engineering.
Yes.
So did you was that before the military or after?
No, I used the GI Bill to do that, so it was after.
Nice.
So right when I got back, that was when I decided, okay, I want to produce. I don't want to learn on my own because, it's hard. I did that with the DJing thing. It takes a lot of time. I would rather sit in a class and, learn it that way. So I went to Media Tech, which was at Arlen Recording Studio, which is Willie Nelson's old studio. So it was when he got into all that tax trouble. I don't know if you've heard. He got in some tax trouble back in the day.
Oh, Willie.
They came and he had just finished an album, and they seized the rights to his album, and they went to the studio to seize the studio, and his nephew was sitting there and had purchased the studio like the night before.
Oh, Willie knew what he was doing.
Oh yeah, he was ready for that. Well, we're not gonna let that one go.
Well, that's the thing too, and like the people that have went through that space, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And
Like I said, this is Stevie Ray Vaughan, Bonnie Ray, Sublime. They weren't there. It was the Horns with the self-titled album with the tattoo on the back. It was that one, and the Horns were done there, and it's just you could feel the energy in those rooms. Like it was amazing.
That's incredible. Okay, so you're back from the military. You went through sound production school. Now, what happened next?
Well, I got to the end of that and wasn't quite where I thought I'd be. And so I still had money on the GI Bill, so I went to the Art Institute for a short period. Again, kind of being spoiled at that real studio. It didn't have the vibe that, this was like sterile, like it's a school,
Yeah.
I ended up leaving the Art Institute and going to Full Sail and doing their online music production and got my bachelor's degree in that. So I have a certificate in audio engineering and a bachelor's degree in recording or in music production.
Okay. So then what did you do after that? Did you dive into your own project right away, or did you go into corporate? How did that look for you?
I started working on my own stuff, and I got to the point where I was featured in Future Music magazine, which was awesome. I just turned it in a track on a whim. It was kind of when the first time I wrote a track and it like started to click. And it only took me 2 days too, instead of months and months of not actually getting anywhere.
That's
I literally
incredible.
Sat down and I was like, we're gonna just went in stages, just this little piece, this little piece, this little piece. And it was a 2-day process and I was done.
What was different for you? How did you harness that skill when you're to compress it like that?
Well, I think before that I was looking at it like it's so complex. Music does so much to us. I feel like we tend to think the amount of emotional response we give to it, it must be like that to create it. And really it's very simple. The simpler it is, it seems the bigger it goes. Obviously there's some nuances inside of that, but that's what I just, it's really the same repeating thing with small variations, we'll say, and that was kind of the idea. So I just keep copy here and then fix this, make it not boring or whatever. Well, that was kind of how it went. Before it would be, I mean, I would stop in the middle of the creative process to go find a YouTube video to try to figure out how to do something, and I wasn't realizing like, oh man, that's, I'm really stopping the creative process there.
So you were able to like tap into like flow state.
Yeah.
When you get into like, okay, I'm just in this one thing, and then that the main thing that allowed you to get through it so quickly, or like know that, like get through 2 days worth of work instead of like 10,
right,
or 2 weeks or whatever.
I think so, because if I remember correctly, it definitely felt, that whole, what they explain the flow state is, it's just being completely lost around here, but trapped in here, like just locked in,
Yes.
You have no idea what's going on around you. But yeah, so I was like, I really liked that. It was the first track that I actually liked, that I did. Because before then, you're like, okay, I have a sound in mind. At that time, Electro House was huge,
Yeah.
And that was the sound I was going for. And it's just so frustrating to hear it in your head and not to be able to, like, what I put here and what's in here, they're so separate. And that was the first time that didn't happen. It was actually like, oh my gosh, I'm doing it. And then on and on and on.
Definitely flow.
Yeah,
Definitely flow. Yeah. Okay, so you had this track and you got the feature in the magazine. Mm-hmm. What happened next?
That was when I quit.
Okay, we need to. This is where we need to dive in, because why did you quit? And tell me about that experience.
Okay, so let's see. I was 24 when I got out of the Army. So for about 4 years, I had worked up. I was playing lots of shows all over Texas, doing my thing. I had the feature, but I'd always, the dead-end job thing, and I have a family, and I wanted to make sure they felt that, like I was going to provide and all of that we should do. And so I always, and Sarah's very supportive of this. So she never even brought this up. This was just my own, my own doing. And I would say constantly, if I don't make it by 30, if I don't get somewhere by 30, I'll just throw the hands up on this, and we'll go do the corporate life and get the house and the car and the 401k. And even though I was getting success, it was like I said that so much that when 30 hit, I was done.
Like you kind of manifested in a way.
In a negative way.
In a negative way. So you paused the music, and then what?
So then I started working as a post-production audio engineer. It almost kind of happened. I feel like I hadn't quite quit yet when I got the job. And it was like on the verge. I got the job as a post-production audio engineer, and that kind of just sealed it up, It kind of sealed the deal. Even my grandma, I was still in school at Full Sail at the time, and I got the job, and I was telling my grandma. And even she was like, well, you can quit school now, right? Since you got the job in the industry, you don't need to finish.
Did you, or did
no,
you?
I finished.
You're good. You finished school. Good.
Yeah, my mom is the opposite of that. My mom is very much go get the degree.
Let's do the thing.
Yeah. I had a guy in my boot camp that was a good friend of mine that was a signature away from a master's degree in physics. And my mom, and like we got a break during boot camp, and my mom and Sarah and them came up, and the whole time, she was just constantly on this guy about, go get that signature. It's a signature.
It's a signature.
Go get the signature.
Literally. It's not even like you have to take a test. Just literally walk up to somebody and say, please sign this.
So she very much pushed me into finishing. And I did. I wanted to,
Good.
But I got the job as a post-production audio engineer. So it wasn't like completely out of music or that field, if you will.
You stayed within it.
Right.
Okay.
Because my boss there told me, he hired me literally because, obviously I used the magazine, I used some of that, and he had originally told me, because we did a lot of bed music and you pay a lot of money a year for that, and the original idea was they could get rid of that subscription and just use me to make, bed music, make tracks and to put with, but just the way we were pumping things out, it just didn't work out that way.
Okay. So then you were in the industry still, but on the corporate side, or on like the work you were working. So then when did you shift? What was the aha moment when you shifted back to you? Or are you doing both?
No, I wasn't doing both. It was, I stayed with them for, 5 years maybe, roughly around 5 years. And then we ended up moving to Oregon, so I left that. And I really wasn't doing anything with it. I even sold my stuff at one point. just to like kind of, you know, like make ends meet. I'm not using it, which I guess Sarah could tell this story, but she said it like obviously it broke her heart to see me get rid of it, because we've been together as long as I started DJing and like dating her all at the same time.
So she knew you as a musician, as an
yes.
artist. Okay.
And so it's been there around her ever since we've been around each other.
Yeah.
And so in Oregon, 2019-ish, could be 18, for Christmas, she got me headphones, the RX DJ2 or whatever, and was like, get back to it. What are you doing?
She sparked you?
Yes, absolutely.
I love that.
I was miserable. You know,
She could see.
There was like obviously this is what I love. Like,
Yeah.
you know, if I never make it, I'll still be in my room making tracks if no one was to ever hear it. And so I wasn't doing that, but I still had that feeling in there. I just didn't know where it was coming. You know, like, what is this? And I mean, I searched some of the craziest ideas for jobs just because I was searching. There's an emptiness, a void I'm trying to fill, and I'm doing it career-wise, you know, like, what can I go do? And everything's on the table, and none of it's making you happy, you know, none of it's what you want to do. And so she saw that, and I think it tortured her a little, you know, and then she said, yeah, I'm not going to have that happen.
I love that she encouraged you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's cool. So sometimes we get that, like, kind of that angel that we need, or that person in our life, or who, like, maybe it's a sign in a song or whatever. But so did you get right back into music, or how did you transition back?
Oh, yeah, pretty much. Obviously, I still had all my tracks, you know, from before.
Yeah.
I still have all my vinyl from originally. And I still have my very first turntables. I just didn't have a mixer. Excuse me. And so I got right back to it. I went to Point Blank online to kind of spark the production side. I didn't finish Point Blank, but I started mentoring with Bass Clef, an artist that I used to like a lot during the golden era, you know, during the electro house days.
I love those days.
And I learned a ton from him. Like, that's kind of really where it all, like, really started to click.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the beginning.
So then you got back into your music.
Yeah.
And did you stick with it? How long did you stick in the day job? Are you currently in a job and doing music, or what? Are you full-time music, or
I'm just doing music now.
Just doing music now.
Yeah.
How did you get from corporate to doing music full-time on your own?
It was, let's see, I started back, about 2022 is when I really decided to take it serious. And even then, it was still another 2 years till I realized how serious I needed to take it. Because I went to ADE in 24 and learned, if you're not treating it like a company or a business, then you're a hobbyist.
Yes.
So around then, like trying to get mentored, doing the same thing that I have been doing. You know, obviously I feel I can't mentor as the highest levels that I'm getting mentored, but I could start basic. I can show the basics, and that's kind of what I've been doing. And then, that's pretty much how it started.
That's a good way to do it. So now you're back in music. Tell me about that experience, and what has been the biggest challenge getting back into music?
Well, for me, it was so I left, I think, I wouldn't say I left because of ageism, the idea of it, but then coming back, that was huge. I thought, okay, I missed the mark. Because of my age,
Because
you
of
know,
your
now
age.
no one's gonna relate to me. I'm gonna get more of the, here comes, you know, the old guy, here comes dad, or whatever,
Here comes dad.
whatever. And, which has been further from the truth than I could ever imagine. But it was really hard to overcome that.
The mental block of that.
Yeah, that was
is
the very
real.
first thing to overcome, to putting myself back out there again. And I mean, I still would be lying if I said it doesn't creep up every now and then, these thoughts, but it's way different now. I call it a drunken monkey, and we just shut that guy up, you know.
Yeah.
But
I love that you named that inner critic. Like, that is, mine was named, I had a name, I think it was Helga or something. It was like, I have a name for my drunken critic, my inner critic. But okay, so how did you overcome the blockage of, like, your age, feeling that was your block?
Man, I wish I had like some great story, but I think the Army taught me, so I was in the infantry, so I think it taught me just to kind of drive on through things, and like so that's kind of what I hear it, but I do it anyway kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, even a month ago, I was like, still like, geez, should I be changing genres? Should I just be changing to fit what's going to work? Because this doesn't feel like it's working. I'm not getting anywhere. And then all of a sudden, you know, I mean, I keep driving forward, and then all of a sudden it's working.
Okay, now we get to, so you kept going, you had the grit. What started working?
Well, I mean, putting myself out there more is really when it started. But I thought I don't like the cheesy dancing that we have to do on, you know, but it works.
Oh, you like the TikTok dance? Yeah.
Yeah, it works, but no, I think when I started doing all that, cheesy or not cheesy, it makes you look more serious, and I think now labels are seeing that when they're looking at me and they're saying, oh, you know, you're not just seeing me throw a track at you, you're seeing, you know, I'm actually out here trying, I'm putting effort in.
Personality behind the brand.
Right, yeah. And I am taking it like extremely serious now. It's not just, I love it as a hobby, but it's not, you know, it's way more than that now.
Definitely. So now you're seeing this trajectory, right? Like you push the boulder over the hill, it sounds like. What has been your secret sauce to getting ahead in your music? And what are your goals right now? Are you reaching out to labels? Are you looking for gigs? What's kind of been your main thing lately?
I've really been focusing on, as far as the goals, I've been focusing on getting to labels.
Okay.
I know that, you know, the other will come too, because there's many artists that I follow that didn't really do shows until this popped off, you know, and I know I should be open, and I am open to playing lots of different things, but it's kind of like I have this set thing in mind as an artist that I want to do, and, you know, so I think my focus was to get that going first. So it's in production and my sound and, you know, what lane I really want to be in, and that was the main focus. So getting on labels, and now that's happening, so it's really shifting to, okay, now it's time to focus on gigs and, you know, getting out there in another way.
Okay, so what was your secret sauce to labels?
The secret sauce?
The secret sauce to getting on those labels, or your version of what worked for you.
I think persistence more than anything, because I had lots of no's that wanted to walk away from. Yeah. And I don't know that there was anything different other than just continuing, you know, going, you know what, here's another one, here's another one. And I had a really cool instance happen with the Cheyenne Giles. You know, he's actually one of the artists that, you know, when I decided bass house was something that I really loved and I wanted to produce, what I did was, you know, a little bit of reverse engineering. So he's actually I think he had 3 tracks that I would pull it in and, you know, sit and write, oh, this is, you know, every 8 bars they're doing this, or they're, you know, and so one night, it was like late, you know, when you're doom scrolling right before you're passing out, and he had a new track, he had a work in progress, and he did a little story saying, you know, should I finish this with the slider reel? And I hit it to slide it all the way over, but it took it as like, you know, the 0, you know, all the way on the left.
Other way? Oh,
yeah,
no.
Fat finger struck again, you know? And I'm like, oh God, you know, like I don't mean to do this. And then I thought, calm down. This guy's got, you know, like 30, 40,000 followers. There's no way in hell he's gonna see this. So I just went on about my day, and when I woke up, I had a DM from him talking about, you know, he said, "Oh, your music is fire."
So he like looked at your stuff.
Yes. So he was like, "Who is this guy?" Yes, hating on me. Let's see what he's about.
Funny.
And and then, you know, we kind of chatted from there. He wanted my tracks, but that was kind of the first. That was the first, like, oh, you know, as long as I'm persistent and I just keep showing up, you know, they're seeing me.
Yeah.
And maybe I don't see that they're seeing me, but people are seeing it, you know. It's not just floating away into nothing.
You really hit the nail on the head with that. Is sometimes we give up on ourselves when we think we're not enough, but really we're like one door opening from something like that, or like an accident, like a mistake on an Instagram or something. So what would you tell your younger self? now.
Oh,
Yeah.
Don't give up, and just keep pushing.
Yeah.
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 And trust in what you like, because if you like it, there are other people who like it too.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of times when and I have a part 1 and part 2 of this, because when I first played out, my goal was to make everyone like me. And I didn't, I was young and I didn't realize, hey, not everyone's gonna like what you do, and that's okay. I mean, I literally gave myself social anxiety the first time, I think, because, it was just such a pressure of like, in my own mind,
Yeah.
I want everyone to like what I'm doing. I want everyone to like what I'm doing. And I would tell them, don't do that.
Yeah.
You want people to not like it. That's a feeling in itself,
Haters
towards
make you
your
famous.
art. Yeah. Actually, now on TikTok, several reels back, someone was like, I don't know why people make this type of music, and I got excited. I was like, yes, finally.
They're giving you attention.
Yeah, thank you for the engagement. But it's finally, there are people showing just a little bit of hate, and obviously that wasn't real hate, but.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, I never got that before, so it's exciting. I must be on the right path now.
So you have completely now made the turn. You're back into your music.
Yes.
You're building strides. What's next?
I kind of want to turn Austin out to bass house and UKG, and so streaming show is something I'm trying to get going, and then just gigs.
I love it. Well, your story is incredible. It just reminds everybody to keep going.
Yes.
And sometimes you do have to take a pause, and that's okay. And then when you come back stronger, you come back clear-headed, and you come back knowing this is for you,
Right.
and then the right people will find you.
Yeah, and that's what it feels like.
Okay, so we're doing this fun part of the conversation now. You've shared your story. Now we ask you, the audience, for some questions for Arobyss. All right, we have a question here from Cabillo Music. How did your love for bass house develop?
So I think it's from the energy of it. Like I said earlier, I started out, my first love is breaks, but really aggressive sound. Outside of dance music, my favorite bands would be Black Sabbath, Wu-Tang Clan, and the Prodigy. So to me, that aggressive bass house sound, the gritty bass, four on the floor, just speaks to me. It just calls to me.
I love it. I love that stuff, so I'm like, keep it coming. Keep it coming. All right, our next one is from Shadow Star. So what is your favorite bass sound design, or he says here, the ethos and technique?
So for me, it's about controlled aggression. Like I said, I come from just grit. I like a lot of grit. Wu-Tang, Prodigy, I like grit. So I want the bass to be, I want the bass to move. I want the bass to be physical, not just stagnant and sit there. So
I love that. So that's the ethos.
I
of
hope
your sound.
so.
I dig that. That was a good question.
It was, yes.
This is from Max Woods Music and Dance WIM. So who are your musical inspirations right now?
If I'm thinking like genre right now, it's Abstract is always at the top. Nico is another one that's pushing the sound of bass house right now, changing it up. And then Nostalgics, her newest album is it's amazing. Like, I love it from start to finish, and you don't get that with a lot of albums.
Yeah.
So that's current, but there's so many that influence along this journey. So it's hard to name just three.
Yes. Well, I absolutely love this conversation. Thank you all for sending your questions. We want to hear from you, the audience, what you want to hear from our artists. So, Arobyss, oh my gosh, thank you for being on the show. It has been a joy to talk to you today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So, how can people connect with you and your music online?
Instagram at Arobyss, SoundCloud, Arobyss, and Spotify.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on Redefining.
Thank you.